All right, hello everyone. Here we are, hole number 4. Just wanted to get a brief idea of what we're looking at here. Kind of two ways that I usually play this. I like to play this with backspin in terms of woods or drivers. So I have yet to see the wind here, so I'm just going to kind of prepare for this just in case. However, we haven't had to hit a driver on this hole in a tournament yet. So there's a good chance we're just going to be hitting a sniper shot. And if you guys don't remember, this was from the Metro Open tournament that we had this course previously. And let's just see what they give us here. I kind of prepare for this accordingly. Switch my wood back. So tailwind, this is actually almost identical to the wind that we had in that tournament. So I pretty much kind of have a general idea of what I'm going to do here. However, my methodology is going to be a little bit different, because what you typically used to saw me do is I'd have to do a huge overplay here. You can see there's not much elevation change here. There might be a slight, it looks like it might shoot 5% down, but it's very, very little. And you'll want to be actually looking at new physical grades as opposed to plain elevation, because you'll find that our new ring model is much better than it used to be. So let's take a look here, the 12.3. Of course, you got to make sure that you pop this open. So there you can see. And we are going to be pulling away from max now. So here you can see max. We're going to be pulling back this way. So we're going to need to make sure that we do an appropriate calculation on that. So if we're starting way up here, you can see that I'm kind of inputting my slider kind of ahead of time. And aside from that, I'm going to kind of play some secondary wind effect, kind of get it in this fashion. And we're going to go roughly 15 rings in addition, maybe 15.4 here. Perfect ball. And let's just see. As a start, it looks like the only thing that I'm just a little bit over towards the left. So I'll just have to worry about my direction, but you can see my land zone's good. The way that I played the wind effect is also good. So you can see what I was doing with my guide, kind of leaving it well short of the hole, knowing that it's going to expand out. Keep in mind this new distance slider we're using, and you can see the value that I used there was 78%. So you can kind of, mimic that for yourself. However, you also need to mimic the wind direction arrow as well. But you can see it's much more intuitively created to kind of be spot on for, all cases here, to where you can still play without needing to do too much to the elevation. As I mentioned, unless elevation is blatantly obvious, you can almost just go ahead and just ride with the new tool. If you can just figure out where I'm pulling to. So keep in mind that I'm starting at max, but I'm pulling back from max. Since I'm pulling back from max, I can no longer use a max ring adjustment. This is the way it's always going to work. Okay, so there's never an exception to that rule. You pull the target back to a shorter zone, you have to use that ring value. And if you guys watch my video over the weekend, that's what it was basically telling you in that video. Very extensively. Wherever you adjust to, that's where you need to use the power slider. So in this case, you can see I pull away from max. I estimated it to be, say, 70% in this case. Well, I don't know if it's 70%, but, it looked pretty good. So, maybe just a little bit more, maybe right on 70, and I just have to kind of tweak my wind effect just a little bit, but it's somewhere in that, 70, 75% range, which is going to be, it looks pretty good in the grand scheme of things there. So good luck there with that, new tool. Hopefully you guys can get this working for you, as it's going to be a much more precise way of playing as opposed to having to overplay it. Because if we were using the old model, let's just talk about this. This is the shot that I used to hit. Okay. But there's no method to it. So that's why we're not doing this anymore. So I used to use just a plus 20% on this hole and use the max value, which was wrong. But it was just like a overcorrection. essentially. It was like an extra add-on that I was doing. Even though I'm no longer at max, I would just use the max value. So here you can see if I was using my old school method, and this is the way that you'd also see on my general instruction videos, that this used to be what I used to do on this hole, which is a plus 20% overplay and use max. Both are technically wrong, but it was just a good way of getting in the vicinity of where I needed the ball to land. Okay? Whereas what you're going to see with the new tool is you just got to basically visualize the shots and actually, calculate things which actually makes sense. You can see there's no real elevation change from tee box to land zone. It might just be just a slight depression, very, very small, if there is one. But aside from that, you'll see with the new wind entry, when I select this value and pull the slider, you can see that I can find an equivalent shot. However, this shot makes sense because it has the wind direction factored in, and it also, you're not using a max distance. So good luck, guys, in the future using this tool. It's going to be a very effective tool and greatly improve your tour play. Much more so, this is going to be a great tool for tournament, for tour. For tournament, you could do anything. It's just shot replication. Like, however you need to go about, you can always use the min values if you wanted to manipulate the tool. Like, for example, if I wanted to manipulate this tool, I could just always use the min value. But it's kind of like, what's the purpose? But look, I can set up like this and just use the min value, and it'll still give me the 15 rings that I needed to adjust. So, for tournaments, it's not going to be critical that you use it. However, to kind of tie the two together, it's probably going to be best for you to do tour and tournament all together and just kind of change to this style of play. It's much more intuitive based. So good luck, and catch you guys on the next hole.